Hello, this is my video for Lab 3. The objective of the lab was to construct a code that would calculate the highest, lowest, and average of student scores. In line 1, we have the hashtag include IO stream, which allows programmers to use output and input functions. In line 2, we have hashtag include IO man IP, which is used to format and clean data, such as controlling the number of significant digits or decimal places a value may have. In line 4, I used standard cout to avoid using cout over and over again within the program. In line 7, I used the keyword size to define how many values the array may have by using constant integer. In line 8, I initialized scores to contain the amount of values from the previous integer size and inputted the given or desired numbers. In line 10 and 11, I used integer function to associate it with the word sum in passing to give it 0 value. That way the answer would be the ones calculated later on. In line 13 to 14, it is a similar concept to the previous lines. However, I associated the words highest and lowest to the scores. That way, later on in the program, it can calculate those numbers. In line 16, I used the for loop to repeat the process of reading through the scores array. In line 17, the code calculates the sum of scores within the array. In line 18, I used the if loop within the for loop to determine which numerical score would be considered passing. In line 21 and 22 indicates the highest within the array. And the same for code line 24 and 25, except it will search for the lowest score within the array. In line 29, it helps calculate the average score by calculating the sum and the size score of the array. In line 31 to 35, I am organizing the summary of the calculations and used the cout function to print out the phrases and inputted the name constant into the proper phrases in order to print out the proper results. I would also like to mention that in line 32, I used the standard fixed to avoid errors within the calculation, and standard precision to indicate the amount of decimal places I desired. Then finally return 0, which indicates the successful execution of the program without any errors.